Welcome everybody to the new episode of Football Unplanned World Cup Edition podcast. I am Patrick and with me is Serjan.
Hello guys, welcome to the third episode and day 3 of our World Cup content. So today we are bringing you Group C. And in Group C we have Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico and Poland. And today we're gonna start the episode with potential group favorites, and that is Argentina.
Argentina is 2 times world champions from 1978 and 1986. They also were very close to win their third title in 2014 but lost 1-0 versus Germany.
And one of the main stars that is supposed to lead them to the greater heights and potential for a title is Lionel Messi. Even though he is not in his prime years, he's 35, he is playing really good this season, and after last season he is really playing good with great contributions both in Ligue 1 and Champions League, in which he contributed to combined 11 goals and 14 assists in only 18 matches.
Okay, but besides Messi, do we have anyone else to look at?
Of course, the Argentina team is really stacked in all of the parts of the field, starting with the goalkeeper, that now they actually have a really good one in Emiliano Martinez. And as their weakest point was pretty much throughout their history their defense, now they have a pretty solid one. They are not missing any big players because of injuries, and only, let's say, big absentee in their team is Giovanni Lo Celso, who is unfortunately injured and he will be missing the team. And maybe, let's say, as a semi-surprise, that there is no Angel Correa from Atletico Madrid on the final squad. But when it comes to their young stars, 2 players come into my mind first. And one of them, even though he is a big talk of the town in Premier League, is not on the final squad for Argentinian team, and he's actually still yet to make a debut for their national team, and that is Alejandro Garnacho. Last week he scored a 91st minute winner against Fulham, and he brought Manchester United 3 points, and he's been really using very well his minutes. For today's episode, as a, let's say, standout young and rising star, I would have to say that it would be Julian Alvarez from Manchester City. He played some matches really good, and lately he's even been starting for Manchester City because of Haaland's injury issues, and he managed to score 3 goals from his arrival to Premier League. And Patrick, what do you think about Argentina's chances to go far in this tournament?
Just by looking on the knockout phase, because I really feel that they're gonna go from the first place. They will meet every time someone strong, like Netherlands, let's say, or Denmark, etc. France, maybe even. So their way to become a world champion will be very tough, but I think like quarterfinals might be like the very, very minimum for them.
Yes, I would definitely agree 100% when it comes to their group position. But yeah, I think they actually had a most compact squad in years, and that they have a decent chance to at least be contenders. Let's not say favorites, but definitely title contenders.
And also, just to finish the topic of Argentina, we all know and we all need to say that this World Cup is gonna be Leo Messi's last chance to become a world champion. Next on the plate is Saudi Arabia. For Saudi Arabia, this year's World Cup is gonna be their 6th in a row. They started in 1994 in the United States World Cup, and that was their best attempt for now, because they advanced from the group stage, and the rest of the World Cups they stayed there and went back home after the
3 games.
After 3 games, that's right. Also, fun fact to mention, they are the record holders of the biggest loss in 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup. They lost 0-8 versus Germany.
And Saudi Arabian team is similarly to Qatar in Group A, completely made out of players from their domestic championship. They really don't have any notable players that have rich European experience, and closest to the team star that they have is Salim Al-Dawsari, who is a one-team man in one of the biggest clubs in Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal, and the only exception to that is his loan in Villarreal, but he only managed to play in one game there. Also, when it comes to the notable absences in Saudi team, one to mention is Fahad Al-Muwalid, who is actually, as a fun fact, fastest Asian player in the world, and he is taken out of the squad just recently because of another doping case, and in his case that is the second strike actually. And Patrick, what do you think about Saudi Arabian chances in this World Cup?
I will give them a chance to draw versus Poland, and that's everything.
That's very patriotic out of you.
But I'm out of any expectations this time.
But we will still have to wait for Poland, because now, before they come, we will focus on Mexican national team.
Mexico, along with Argentina, is one of those teams that played even in the very first World Cup in 1930s in Uruguay. They are still one of the mostly seen teams in all of the World Cups because they've been there for 16 times now. And only Brazil, Germany, Italy and Argentina were more times playing in the World Cup than Mexico. But just to compare, they went to the quarterfinals only 2 times, and most of the times they went out in the round of 16.
And yeah, I always remember that they had really great showing at 2014 World Cup in Brazil, where they eventually got eliminated by Netherlands, or, well, by Robben diving and Netherlands getting a penalty. And actually, one of the heroes for Mexico in this World Cup is still part of the team, even though he's 37, and that's Guillermo Ochoa. He's a guy who has always been bowling out in the big championships, and actually, unlike many of the, let's say, unsung heroes of World Cups, he carved out a nice career even in Europe.
In Mexican roster there are some surprises. One of them is lack of Jesus Corona, but he isn't going to World Cup because of the injury, and also lack of Chicharito, which was one of the biggest stars back in the days, but I guess he likes girls more.
Yeah, he hasn't been called up since 2018 actually for their national team. And lately there has been reports that the reasons behind that is that he and several other players, well, took advantage of escort ladies and didn't focus 100% on the football.
Yeah, so just let's end this Mexican topic with, of course, expectations. So what are your expectations for Mexico this year?
Well, in reality, they're gonna fight for the second place with Poland, and that would be an interesting matchup because Polish defense is not the fastest, and the best player for Mexican team is Irving Lozano, who is well renowned for his speed. So it will be an interesting game, actually.
Very interesting game because you have on both sides very good goalkeepers versus very good strikers. So anything can happen. Like any score is very possible here.
Exactly. So let us now finish today's episode actually with Poland. So Patrick, you can do the honors.
Yeah, Poland. Where to start? Czesław Michniewicz, which is our national team coach, took our team after Paulo Sousa went out to Brazil for a short adventure in one of their clubs, and his goal was to go to World Cup, but he had only one match versus Sweden, versus which we lost in Euros 2020. Our last group match back in the days. That was our first time trying to go to the World Cup in playoffs.
Yeah, and because of the fact that FIFA suspended Russia, who was supposed to be the opponent of Poland in playoff semifinals. They got lucky and had only one opponent, but a hard one.
Yeah, versus Sweden we didn't had too many good memories. Most of them were just like Swedish guys smacking ours, mostly in Stockholm, especially in the Euro 2004 qualifications, but that is history. Now new history should be made, and in this century our World Cups were tragic. Let's be honest. We started in 2002 in Korea, Japan versus one of the hosts, South Korea, and we lost 0-2. Then we went to Germany 4 years later and we lost our first match also versus Ecuador, also 0-2. Then we were absent until Russians World Cup in 2018 and we lost 1-2 versus Senegal. So I guess if you want to put some money into some betting, you should go with like 0-2 for Mexico. And to be honest, in Polish media there isn't many like, how to say, positive vibes for the first time in my life, as I'm watching our team playing in big tournaments. Last time when we were playing in Euros, we were playing versus Slovakia, and I think that was like last time when everyone was like 100% sure that we're gonna win. But this year is way different. This year, everyone thinks that we are going to even lose every match. So, just to finish up this intro and historical part, Poland has 2 bronze medals from 1974 and 1982.
And that qualifying for 2022 World Cup, even though with low expectations, let's say, may actually be liberating for the team because they prove that they're not playing their best football under pressure. And I especially like the fact that they qualified because this is probably the last big tournament for biggest Polish player in recent history, and that's of course Lewandowski. So Lewandowski this year transferred to Barcelona and managed to score 13 goals in La Liga and further 5 goals in Champions League, but majority of them were against weaker opposition. Now we'll see, will it translate into World Cup where he will score 4 against Saudi Arabia and then not score against Mexico and Argentina, or will actually he perform completely well in the tournament and try to qualify Poland into round of 16.
And also to mention how really he wants to play in this World Cup, we need to mention that he got a red card in his last Barcelona match just to be faster here in Warsaw and start preparing for the championship.
And one would say that might be smart considering what happened to Fiorentina goalkeeper Dragowski at the last match of Serie A, where he got injured and he will unfortunately miss World Cup because of that.
And for the youngest stars in the Polish team, we should mostly look at Nikola Zalewski from AS Roma and also I think Christian Bielik. But keep in mind that Christian Bielik is made out of glass, but like the very thin glass. His career has been stopped recently because of the many injuries of his knees. Thankfully, he will go to this World Cup and I really believe that he will make a very good difference for Polish supporters. People are really believing in him. Let's wait for the World Cup and see by ourselves how much and how good he might be.
So Patrick, what are your predictions for the Group C?
Argentina is going to win every match in this group and Mexico will most probably take the second place. Poland, I guess, only 1 win, just like it was in our recent history, on the 3rd place, and Saudi Arabia 4th place.
Yeah, that is probable, but like I already said, the decider would be the match between Mexico and Poland because I really can't see any of other 3 teams taking a point away from Argentina. So guys, that would be it for the third episode and Group C for our World Cup predictions. So if you like this content, please subscribe to the channel, like and share, and let us know in the comments what are your predictions for Group C.
Thank you guys, and see you in the very next episode.
See you guys.